All right, welcome to another episode of Wouldn't It Be Awesome?
The show where nerds nerd out. I'm Q.
And I'm A. And today's topic is something that I've been thinking about for quite a bit. And I was actually thinking about this long before Disney acquired the rights to, basically bought out 20th Century Fox and got all those properties.
Was it changing your underwear?
I never think about that.
Oh,
never.
That's kind of what I thought.
No, so yeah. Now that Disney has the rights to do the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, we're gonna see those coming down the line, and Kevin Feige definitely hinted at that at their last big convention show.
Although no intentions to do it soon.
Right.
Yeah.
It
does appear that it will be most likely a part of Phase 5.
Right. Probably 2022 at the earliest, which is good. I want them to take their time. I want them to do it right.
Absolutely.
And everyone's talking, of course, about who should play who and all this stuff, and I'm on board with that conversation, and maybe we have another episode down the line about who should play the Fantastic Four. I've got my feelings on it, and I think I'm right there with the zeitgeist of who should be there. John Krasinski, Emily Blunt. Just going to throw it out there.
5-second sidebar. Wouldn't it be awesome if Keanu Reeves played all 4 Fantastic Four characters?
And Dr. Doom.
Moving on.
And Mole Man.
He just plays Keanu Reeves plays every character in the film.
I think we're going to have another episode, too, about who Keanu Reeves should play, because everyone's talking about that, too. But today's topic is going to be about how we introduce the Fantastic Four into the universe. Let me give a little bit of, setup to this. There's been a few theories floating out there, and none of which I've really liked except my own. And so that's what I'm going to throw out there today.
Well, at least we're honest.
At least we're honest.
That's fantastic.
One of the main ones is that we reset. So we do a new origin of the Fantastic Four starting now. Maybe the Infinity Stones breaking released some cosmic energy. Maybe something happened. Maybe behind the scenes
Please don't tell me that the now so-called blip event is going to be also like an experiment gone wrong.
A scientific experiment gone? Oh, yeah.
People come back from the blip and they're not the same.
Right.
Like, that would be such a cop-out way to do things. I don't see Marvel doing that. They seem to have been smart enough to avoid the science experiment gone wrong origin.
But
do you truly need an origin?
That's what I say you don't. And I've seen a lot of people using this, the wake of the Endgame and the Infinity War to explain how mutants arise or all this other stuff. I don't think it's great. I think everyone needs their own little story. And Fantastic Four, even though it's been done before, they do need a backstory of a scientific experiment gone wrong. That's crucial to who they are.
Can you still do that in today's era of comic films,
right? Without
it coming off campy.
Exactly. So I think it would be very hard to do that without coming off. Here's the thing: if we show it, if we play it out on screen, it would be really, it would be treading waters we've already seen before in 100 other movies. Yes. Where scientific experiments gone wrong. In fact, we've seen it in the last 2 Fantastic Four franchises, which neither of them did justice to this team. So when Disney rebooted Spider-Man, they were smart to stay away from retelling his origin for the 3rd time in recent history, right?
Yes.
They just said, guess what? You already know how he came about.
Spider bite, spider's dead, moving on. And that's all they said about it. The only time anything was brought up about it was Ned asking, is the spider still alive? Would it hurt? And it's Ned, the spider's dead.
Right.
Moving on.
So nixing that. No, I say no to an origin movie of any kind. I don't think audiences care to see that. The other idea is that you release them now as a full-on team, boom, and then they have this is the theory that a lot of people like, that they're from like the 1960s, the classic era of Marvel. I can see the appeal here. I can see why we would want this kind of cool classic super team. Then we could sort of play into the campiness and the cheesiness of it. But, the reason I don't like this is because, again, we're treading waters where we've always already been.
Yeah, we saw this with Captain America. The person out of time from the past.
Right.
We have seen.
I mean, when you think about it, Captain America's from the 40s. We even see the 60s a little bit in old Ant-Man and Wasp. We see the 80s come through in Star-Lord.
Yep.
He's been away from Earth, so he's kind of got this 80s culture about him.
And then you get the 90s in Captain Marvel.
Exactly. Do we really need another relic from the past with their eccentricities of the cultural differences of the 1960s? I would say no. You know what we need? Wouldn't it be awesome if the Fantastic Four were from the future? I'll tell you why it would be super awesome. Because that way, they can come, maybe they get stuck in our timeline. They can come onto the field as a fully formed team with a backstory already. We don't need to see them learning their powers and all this stuff. They're already who they are. They're already super great at what they do. They're already this premier superhero team, exploration group, scientific discovery group. The epitome of maybe superheroes in the future. The world loves them. They are the Fantastic Four. And yet something happens where they come back in time and they get stuck in our time. And now they've got to deal with they have maybe cultural eccentricities of a different time period, but it's the future. It's something we haven't seen yet. This would do a lot of things. This would give the ability for Reed Richards to be the smartest person on the planet without us wondering, where's he been this whole time?
How, where, why?
How come Tony Stark's never said his name before? How come Banner's never said his name before if he's the smart... he comes on, he's the smartest person on Earth from the future, and now he's like super smart because he knows sciences and knows that don't even exist. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So... it takes care of that. It also takes care of skipping over the origin. It gives them maybe a whole slew of a rogues gallery.
Before you even get into that point, how do you introduce them, though? Do you introduce them as villains?
Well, I wouldn't. I think they got to be heroes.
Because you're gonna have to introduce them like every comic hero has been introduced in every book ever in someone else's thing. They gotta fight. Their first appearance has to be in someone else's film or something like that. So
totally,
you gotta have them show up in someone else's film. But how do you have them show up? Is it just like end of the movie, hole in space, boom, they're here, and we're like, what the hell is that?
What's that? You know how I would do it?
Because that feels more like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Kind of moment,
You know how I would do it? Remember, this is Disney, and now we're talking about...
That is kind of how they introduce a lot of their characters,
right?
Just through Easter eggs.
Or how about we go back to the one shot? And we put this one shot. Remember, I can't think of something right off the top of my head, but a lot of Disney movies would have a short film play before the real movie started in the theater.
Yeah, the animated films.
Right. Like Pixar had that little lamp guy do his thing with the ball, and it lasted a couple minutes, and there was kind of
and then you had
cute
like the one with the birds on the wire, and then the really big bird shows up. And then the recent one you had with the dumpling, and how the dumpling was representative of the woman's child.
Dude, the dumpling movie, yes. Okay, so
which was like heartbreaking in a 3-minute film.
Totally.
But anyway,
dude, let's do a dumpling movie. Before, let's say this is before the next big, new Avengers movie or something, right? We've got a big franchise we're kicking off, Doctor Strange, I don't know, something we're a big new movie, and right in the beginning of it, before the movie even starts, we have a one shot where it's the Fantastic Four portaling into our time, coming in and basically just neutralizing whatever heroes are there, and perhaps they need to grab something from the past. And so they basically just show off their powers and their skills in just this flashbang awesome sequence that can last a few minutes. And then before you know it, they're out of there. Side note, would be fun for them to have to come grab. If you've seen our other video about Tony Stark becoming an AI, wouldn't it be fun if they came back, Reed Richards needs Tony Stark, but he doesn't want to take him out of the past, too far in the past when Tony Stark was actually influencing things. They come in to steal the AI Tony Stark.
He needs Tony Stark.
Yes.
intelligence. He does not need Tony Stark physically.
Yes.
I don't need you to do and touch and mess with things. I just need a few thoughts that are rattling around in those circuits.
I need to run some equations by you. Yeah, that would be great. If you don't know what we're talking about, go and check out our other video of where we talk about how Tony Stark should become the AI of the new Iron suits. But anyway, so that would be a cool way to introduce them. They come in on the scene. They neutralize in a glorious show of superpowers and stuff. Neutralize our strongest, Avengers and whoever to get what they need, and then they're out of there. And then you're like, oh my god! And then the movie can start in the wake of that. Like, what just happened? Who the hell are these people? Okay, we don't have time to even deal with this. Something else is going on. And then when we go to watch the Fantastic Four movie, now we've already kind of seen them. We already see the actors. We already can see what they do. And the movie starts there with, Reed Richards doing his thing.
The moment they get back to their time
yeah.
and do what they need to do with the Stark intelligence.
Mm-hmm. I'd want to stay away from too much time travel hippity-hoppity to avoid repeating what we do in Endgame. But I think they need to come from the future, and I think they need to get stuck in the past. And so I think a villain like Kang the Conqueror would be a great one to use in this. And I think what would also be kind of cool would be, when we hear them talk and we learn that they're this big premier superhero team from the future, and they have all these supervillains they've fought, and maybe they've dealt with Galactus coming to Earth before, and so they can warn our heroes of now what's coming, or they know of Atlantis and the Submariner and all this stuff. Well, maybe one thing they haven't dealt with yet is Doctor Doom. And it's in our time, it's them coming back to our time that gives rise to Doctor Doom. And since Doctor Doom in the comics is, I believe, an ancestor of Kang the Conqueror, that would be kind of a cool way. Kang the Conqueror comes back in time to do something, and the Fantastic Four are there to stop him. Something goes wrong in the doohickey, and they get stuck in the past. And Kang, before he leaves, goes to Sokovia, the ruined land in Eastern Europe, and gives some technology secret to his old ancestor, an ancestor of his, Victor Von Doom, who turns the ashes of Sokovia into a new country, Latveria. And we get to see that play out over time. And the Fantastic Four are now stuck in our time, having to deal with, how do we ever get back? Can we ever get back? No, we have to live our lives here now. Dude, they could even have children. They could even have Frank and Valeria, I think is her name, the kids. We could have a very experienced team, a charismatic team, fun family movie right off the bat without going through all the boring tropes that we've already seen before. I think it would be super fun, and I think it would be awesome. What do you think, Q?
So, I like it. I like this theory. I do believe that it would be the best way to kind of tell the story is to bring them from the future without having to explain the whole backstory and stuff. By the way, that was a very thing way of explaining the doohickey, something going wrong with the doohickey.
Exactly. That was a Ben Grimm
very Ben Grimm of you.
Yes.
But I don't know, maybe the only little twist I might make, Kang the Conqueror could perhaps be somehow connected to, but I do like Sokovia. I do like Sokovia being the origin of Doctor Doom.
And Latveria, yeah.
Sokovia's ruin becomes Latveria.
Yes.
Latveria
Absolutely.
rises from the ashes of Sokovia.
It could be like a tent town that forms
it doesn't necessarily
empire.
Need to include Kang because they've already got all the tech there. With what Ultron did to the city, they've got like a core to their city of vibranium that they could do all sorts of stuff
That's
with.
great. So, Doombots can be the remnant, can be the reconfigured remnants.
The pieces put back together of all the Ultron bots.
Dude,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's the one little tweak I would make. Mm-hmm. So wouldn't it be awesome if Doctor Doom rises from the ashes of Sokovia to build Latveria?
Right. It would have to be somehow in response to the fact that the Fantastic Four are here, though. In order to tie those two stories together, Because he could just develop now, but
if he develops now in this timeline, in the wake of the events that happened with the Avengers, he's going to have an already established hatred of anything deemed a hero.
Right.
He is and has become what he has become as a result of what these heroes go and do. So anyone who is a hero or worships heroes or anything along those lines is something he's very going to be against.
Yes.
So the presence of these very egotistical, full of themselves, we're the best of the best and no one can stop us. That's what pushes him to the point of, oh, you think so?
Yeah, right.
This has been my reason. This has been what I've been waiting for. The Avengers are nothing to me. Whoever are your heroes that exist now, I could wipe the floor with them. I need not even bother with them. But these folks, this arrogance needs to.
They have
be
the
put
ability
in check.
to perhaps mess up my design. They weren't a factor in my calculations.
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah, there you go. They weren't a part of what all of his plans were, and they have the potential to mess it up. So he has to take the initiative to come after them.
Yes.
And attacking these new people to this place with the full might of a country you didn't even know existed. It'd be like Wakanda showing up on your front door with a battle armada behind them. Like, what do you even do?
Exactly.
You're so unprepared for it.
So, yes.
To recap, wouldn't it be awesome if the Fantastic Four were from the future?
Let us know what you think in the comments. And be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell and all that fun stuff. Ding, 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 ding. Catch you next time.
See ya.